In the final years of the Roman Republic, when the streets of Rome ran thick with ambition, betrayal, and blood, a sickly, quiet young man stood in the shadow of giants. No one looking at him would have guessed that he would outmaneuver generals, senators, and legends to become the most powerful man in the Roman world. This is the story of how Augustus became Rome's first emperor, and how he changed history forever. If you love deep dives into the real power moves behind ancient history, make sure you're subscribed and hit the like button now, because the rise of Augustus is only the beginning of Rome's most dramatic era, and you won't want to miss what comes next. Our story begins with a name that shook the Mediterranean world: Julius Caesar. By 44 BCE, Caesar had defeated his rivals in a brutal civil war. He crossed the Rubicon, crushed Pompey, and declared himself dictator for life. To many Romans, he was a hero. To others, he was a king in everything but name, and Rome had sworn never to bow to a king again. But Caesar had no legitimate sons. Instead, he had a grandnephew, a teenager named Gaius Octavius. Frail in health, but razor-sharp in mind, Octavius was studying and training in the provinces when everything changed. On the Ides of March, 44 BCE, Caesar was stabbed to death in the Senate by a group of conspirators led by men like Marcus Junius Brutus and Gaius Cassius Longinus. They believed they were saving the Republic. Instead, they ignited a firestorm. When Caesar's will was opened, Rome was stunned. The young Octavius had been adopted as Caesar's son and named as principal heir. Overnight, the unknown teenager became Gaius Julius Caesar Octavianus, and inherited not only Caesar's wealth, but his name, his loyalty network, and his enemies. At just 18 years old, Octavian stepped into a city on the brink of chaos. Veteran soldiers wanted payment. Politicians scrambled for control. And towering above them all was one of Caesar's most trusted generals, Mark Antony. Antony was charismatic, experienced, and battle-hardened. At first, he dismissed Octavian as a child. That was his first mistake. Octavian didn't challenge Antony directly. Instead, he played the long game. He appealed to Caesar's veterans, promising them the rewards they were owed. He used Caesar's name strategically, presenting himself as the rightful son and avenger. He charmed some senators while quietly undermining others. The young man no one feared was building alliances piece by piece. Within months, tensions exploded into open conflict. Octavian aligned himself temporarily with the Senate against Antony. Forces clashed, armies maneuvered. Rome's political system began tearing itself apart. But Octavian understood something crucial. Rome was exhausted by chaos. Whoever could promise stability would win. In 43 BCE, in a stunning reversal, Octavian joined forces with Antony and another powerful figure, Marcus Aemilius Lepidus. Together, they formed the Second Triumvirate, a legally sanctioned three-man dictatorship with absolute power. Their first move was ruthless. They initiated proscriptions, official kill lists. Political enemies were hunted down and executed. Wealth was confiscated. Even the great orator Cicero was captured and killed. Rome tombed. With their enemies in Italy crushed, the triumvirs turned east. In 42 BCE, they met the forces of Brutus and Cassius at the Battle of Philippi. The assassins of Caesar were defeated. Both committed suicide. The Republic's last defenders were gone. The Roman world was divided among the three victors. Antony took the east. Lepidus received Africa. Octavian controlled the west, including Italy, the heart of Rome. And this is where Octavian's true brilliance began to shine. While Antony was in the east, he became increasingly entangled with the powerful queen of Egypt, Cleopatra. Their alliance, both romantic and political, alarmed many in Rome. Antony began adopting Eastern customs. Rumors spread that he intended to shift power away from Rome itself. Octavian saw opportunity. He launched a propaganda campaign unlike anything Rome had seen before. He painted Antony as corrupted, bewitched by Cleopatra, and disloyal to Roman values. He positioned himself as the defender of tradition, morality, and the Republic. It was political warfare, and Octavian was winning. Tensions between Octavian and Antony finally boiled over into open conflict. In 31 BCE, their forces met at the decisive Battle of Actium. Octavian's fleet, commanded by his brilliant general Agrippa, crushed Antony and Cleopatra's navy. The couple fled to Egypt. A year later, Octavian invaded Egypt. Antony and Cleopatra both took their own lives. Egypt, one of the richest kingdoms in the Mediterranean, fell into Octavian's hands. Now, for the first time, one man stood unchallenged at the top of the Roman world. But here's where Octavian made the move that changed everything. He did not declare himself king. He did not call himself dictator for life. He understood that Romans hated kingship. They feared tyranny. So instead, in 27 BCE, he performed a masterful piece of political theater. He restored power to the Senate and people of Rome, at least in appearance. The Senate, grateful and intimidated, granted him extraordinary powers in return. They gave him control of key provinces and their legions. They awarded him the title Augustus, meaning the revered one. From that moment on, he was known as Augustus. The Republic still technically existed. The Senate still met. Elections still occurred. But real power flowed through Augustus. This was the birth of the Roman Empire. And here's something most people miss. Augustus didn't just seize power, he redefined it. He reorganized the military, ensuring soldiers were loyal to the state and to him rather than to individual generals. He created a professional standing army and the Praetorian Guard to protect him. He stabilized the economy, reformed taxation, and poured wealth from Egypt into Rome's infrastructure. He built roads, temples, forums. He famously boasted that he found Rome a city of brick and left it a city of marble. But perhaps his greatest achievement was peace. After decades of civil war, Augustus ushered in the Pax Romana, a period of relative stability and prosperity that would last for generations. Trade flourished, borders were secured, Roman culture spread across Europe, North Africa, and the Near East. Yet beneath the calm surface, Augustus never forgot the chaos that had brought him to power. He maintained careful control over the Senate. He managed public opinion. He promoted traditional Roman values, encouraging marriage and family life to strengthen society. He also faced personal tragedy and political challenges. Succession was a constant worry. Several heirs died prematurely. Intrigue simmered within his own family. But Augustus had done what no Roman before him had achieved. He created a system where one man ruled, without calling himself king. By the time he died in 14 CE, Augustus had transformed Rome from a fractured republic into a centralized empire. His adopted son Tiberius succeeded him smoothly, proof that the system worked. Think about that for a moment. A teenager dismissed as weak and insignificant had outlasted assassins, generals, queens, and rivals. He didn't just win battles, he won narratives. He reshaped institutions. He mastered perception. And if you're finding this breakdown of power, strategy, and psychological warfare fascinating, take a second right now to like the video and comment Augustus below. It helps more history lovers discover stories like this, and it tells me you want more deep dives into the minds behind empires. What makes Augustus so extraordinary isn't brute strength. It's patience, adaptability, image control. He knew when to be ruthless and when to appear humble. He knew when to share power and when to quietly concentrate it. He studied the mistakes of Julius Caesar and avoided them. Caesar reached too openly for supremacy. Augustus wrapped supremacy in tradition. He weaponized legitimacy. He understood that real power isn't just about armies. It's about what people believe. And that lesson echoes across history. From emperors to modern leaders, the blueprint Augustus created has been copied again and again. Maintain the forms, control the substance. By the end of his life, Augustus was more than a ruler. He was an institution. Temples honored him. Coins bore his image. Provinces swore loyalty to his name. And Rome, once addicted to civil war, now depended on a single steady hand. The Roman Republic died, not in one dramatic moment, but slowly carefully, almost invisibly, replaced by something new. A system born from chaos. A throne built without a crown. A ruler who never called himself king, yet became the first emperor. And that is how Augustus rose from a fragile teenager in the shadow of Julius Caesar to the architect of an empire that would shape the Western world for centuries. If you enjoyed this journey into the rise of Rome's first emperor and want more long-form stories about the power struggles that shaped our world, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next episode. Because the fall of Rome is just as dramatic as its rise, and we're only getting started.